Truths about Christ and His kingdom.
We need to worship the Holy Spirit in the same way that we worship the Son of God.
We believe that the God who created everything, including us, the God who brought us into existence, has revealed Himself to us in a book, through writings. And that is what the Bible is.
Hi again, guys. My name is Phil.
I'm Scott.
And on this episode, it's episode 6. Thanks for joining us. We're going to discuss exactly who Jesus is. And for that, we've decided to choose a passage. It'll be familiar to many of you, I'm sure, about a woman caught in adultery. It's in John 8, and I'm going to read from verses 1 to verse 11. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning, he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery and placed her in the midst. They said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law of Moses, we are commanded to stone such women. So what do you say?" This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. And as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her." And once more he bent down and wrote on the ground. But when they heard it, they went away one by one, beginning with the older ones. And Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus stood up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on, sin no more." So that carries on perfectly from what we discussed before in John 3:17, where Jesus didn't come into the world to condemn it, but to save it.
Yeah.
And that's just a tiny glimpse into who Jesus is, and what he's about, and the kinds of things he taught.
Yeah, absolutely. Here it shows us perfectly that Jesus, who's, as we said previously in the previous one, is God in human form. He's the only one who did have the right to condemn this woman, and yet he says, "I don't condemn you, go and sin no more." Guys, that is the message of Christ. That is the gospel. That is what the gospel is. Jesus did not come to condemn us. Jesus came to forgive our wrongdoings, everything we've done wrong against him, everything we've ever done wrong. God will forgive. There is no sin that God won't forgive.
So just like these people who were really casting blame on this woman, trying to test Jesus, remember that next time you're throwing blame at someone, exactly what Jesus taught: let him who's without sin cast the first stone. And they all walked away. It's such a challenge to us as we think about our daily lives and our disciplines in living for God and loving those who he loves.
Yeah, and so that's just another example of who Jesus is. And guys, we'll join us again next week, where we will continue to share with you who Jesus is, and building up to the crucifixion and ultimately the resurrection, where we will truly explain who Christ is, and it will be revealed completely who Christ is and what he came to do. Thanks for joining us, guys.
See you again next time.
Truths about Christ and His kingdom.
We need to worship the Holy Spirit in the same way that we worship the Son of God.
We believe that the God who created everything, including us, the God who brought us into existence, has revealed himself to us in a book, through writings. And that is what the Bible is.